Yes, ಮಾತು ಕಮ್ಮಿ ಮಾಡಿ. Okay. In last class, we were discussing minimization problems, how to minimize a given DFSM. So we discussed many examples there. Okay. So in today's class, we'll consider related theory. Okay, related theory I'm going to cover in this particular class. Yesterday, we discussed what is minimization. You know what is equivalence class. Okay. So in today's class, we'll discuss some of the theory concepts like indistinguishable, distinguishable, then equivalence class in detail. Okay. So first, we'll see what is indistinguishable. So we say that x and y are indistinguishable with respect to L, which we'll write as x is indistinguishable from y in language L if and only if all z belonging to sigma star, either xz and yz belongs to L or neither is a part of L. Consider x equal to AA, y equal to BB and z equal to BA. So we are considering the language for the alphabet A comma B where length of W is even. So here also, so x equal to AA, y equal to BB, z equal to BA. Since AA, BA, BB, BA are in L, therefore x is indistinguishable from y in L. Okay, x is indistinguishable from y in language L. So that is the definition of indistinguishable. So we say that x and y are indistinguishable with respect to L, which we'll write as x is indistinguishable from y in language L if and only if all z belonging to sigma star, either xz and yz, both of them belong to L or none of them belong to L, then we say that x and y are indistinguishable. So here we have considered the example x equal to AA, y equal to BB, z equal to BA. Then AA, xz is AA, BA, yz is BB, BA. So both are in L, therefore x is indistinguishable from y. So we consider two strings x and y. We consider one more string z belonging to sigma star. Then x and y are said to be indistinguishable if xz and yz both are in L or both are not in L. Okay. Then distinguishable, again the same definition. We say that x and y are distinguishable with respect to L if and only if they are not indistinguishable. So we need to consider two strings x and y, x and y. Then we need to consider one more string z. Then we are going to perform concatenation x, z and yz. Okay. Then either xz should be in L or yz should be in L. both should not be in L. If this condition is satisfied, we say that X and Y are distinguishable. Okay, so consider two strings X and Y. To say that X and Y are distinguishable, we consider a third string Z and we perform concatenation. We compute XZ and YZ. So if XZ and YZ are such that one of them is in L, one of them is in not L, then we say that X and Y are distinguishable. Okay, that's the definition of indistinguishable and distinguishable. Then equivalence class, two partitions. So consider the language W belongs to A comma B star, cardinality of W is even. Okay, consider this language. So language over the alphabet A comma B, cardinality of W is even. So here this is the DFSM. So as you can see, there are two states. One is the accepting state, one is the rejecting state. That means for this language, there are two equivalence classes. So one equivalence class is representing set of strings which are a part of the language. Another equivalence class is representing set of strings which are not a part of L. So two states means there are two equivalence classes. One equivalence class representing strings which are a part of the language. Another equivalence class representing strings which are not a part of the language. Okay, which are not a part of the language. Now let's consider. So here these are the strings which are a part of the language. So either epsilon or string with even length. Then all elements are indistinguishable. So all elements which are a part of L are indistinguishable with respect to L. Not L. So you have strings which are of odd length. Then all elements of not L are indistinguishable. So here you consider any element of this L, it cannot be distinguished from other elements of L. Similarly, in not L, you consider any element, it cannot be distinguished from other elements of not L. Then any string from L is distinguishable from any string from not L. Okay, any string from L is distinguishable from any string from not L. That is, strings which are in L are indistinguishable. Strings which are in not L are indistinguishable. But if you consider one string from L, one string from not L, they are distinguishable. Okay. For example, A and A are distinguishable. So as you can see, A belongs to L, A doesn't belong to L. Because if you consider third string BB, then perform the concatenation. AABB is in L, ABB is not in L. So A and A are distinguishable because we consider third string BB, then we concatenate. One string happens to be in L, another string is in not L. That's why they are distinguishable. Okay, because they are not in the same equivalence class. One is in L, A is in L, A is in not L. Then consider AA and BB. Now both are in the same equivalence class. Both are in the same equivalence class. They are indistinguishable. They are indistinguishable. So take an element BB, then you perform concatenation. AABB is in L, BBBB is also in L. They are indistinguishable. Okay. Then equivalence class, three partitions. Equivalence class, three partitions. L is equal to set of all strings containing string AB, where sigma is equal to A comma B. So language is over the alphabet A comma B such that substring AB must be present. So if you consider the DFSM, this is the DFSM corresponding to the language. So whenever AB substring is there, you go to the final state, accepting state. Okay, this is the DFSM. Now, as you see from the DFSM, there are three states. Two are rejecting states, one is accepting state. That means there are three equivalence classes. One corresponds to the set of strings which are a part of the language, then 2 correspond to the set of strings which are rejected by the language. That means string can be accepted in one way, but string can be rejected in two ways. 1 and 2 are rejecting states. So there are two ways to reject the string, but there is only one way to accept the string. Okay, now L is equal to, so if you consider any string, AB is a part of the string. So L is set of all those strings which are a part of the language. Then not L is set of all those strings which are not a part of L. But you, from the DFSM, you know that not L is not a single equivalence class, because string can be rejected in two ways. That means not L can be partitioned. So not L must be separated into two states. So one is sigma B BB, then another is A. Okay, so as you can see from here, so in state 1, you are rejecting either epsilon or strings which are composed only of B's. In state 1, you reject strings which are either epsilon or composed only of B's. In state 2, you are rejecting all those strings which end with an A, which end with A. Okay, so you can have B's at the beginning, which is not shown here in equivalence class. You can have 0 or more B's at the beginning, must be followed by uh, at least one A, then string gets rejected. Okay, so these are the two ways in which strings can be rejected. So that's why there are three partitions. So one partition corresponds to all accepting strings, then two partitions corresponding to rejecting strings. So string can be rejected either by state 1 or by state 2. So there are two equivalence classes for rejecting strings. Okay, this is not needed. Okay, we discussed all these examples. Okay, now okay, that's the theory behind equivalence class, distinguishable, indistinguishable, and minimization of DFSM. Okay, now so here many algorithms are there. Okay, all these are discussed in the previous class. Okay, so this is the algorithm for converting NDFSM to DFSM. Algorithm for converting NDFSM to DFSM. So let's see this algorithm. Already we solved problems. Let's see the algorithm for converting NDFSM to DFSM. So already you know this. So what you need to do is, for each state Q, you need to compute epsilon of Q. So you know how to compute epsilon of Q. Then S dash, which is nothing but the starting state of DFSM, which is computed as epsilon of S. S is the starting state of NDFSM. Okay. So two steps are clear now. In the first step, you are going to compute epsilon of Q for each of the states. In the second step, you're going to compute S dash, which is the starting state of DFSM, by using epsilon of S, which is the starting state of NDFSM. Then compute delta dash. Compute delta dash. So active states is equal to S dash. So initially, you have only S dash as the active state. Only S dash is a part of the set of active states. Then delta dash is 5. Because initially you have only the starting state S dash, you have not defined any transition. That's why delta dash, which is the transition function for the DFSM, is empty 5. Then, while there exists some element Q of the active states for which delta dash has not yet been computed to for each character C in alphabet, do new state is 5 for each state Q in Q, do for each state P such that Q, C, P belongs to delta, do new state is equal to new state union epsilon of P. Then add the transition Q, C, new state to delta dash. So if new state doesn't belong to active states, then insert it K dash is equal to active states. Okay. Then A dash is equal to Q belongs to K dash. Q intersection A is not equal to 5. So already you have solved the problem. Let's consider this once again. So here this is the problem. This is the given NDFSM which should be converted to DFSM. So first step is to compute epsilon of Q naught. You know that Q naught is the starting state of NDFSM. You need to compute starting state of DFSM. For that, you need to compute epsilon of Q naught. So epsilon of Q naught, you know that it is Q naught, Q1, Q3, which is nothing but the starting state of DFSM. So S dash is equal to epsilon of S. S is Q naught. So epsilon of Q naught is Q naught, Q1, Q3, which is the starting state of NDFSM. That is the first step. Then you need to add S dash to the set of active states. Initially delta dash is 5 because you have not defined any transition yet for the DFSM. Then while there exists some element Q of the active states, you need to consider one of the elements of the set of active states, call it as Q. So in our example, what is Q right now? It is nothing but Q naught, Q1, Q3. Q naught, Q1, Q3 is a member of active states. So you consider that one Q naught, Q1, Q3, and you know that delta dash has not been computed for that. What you need to do for each character C in sigma m? So how many characters are there here? 0 and 1. You need to compute delta dash for both 0 and 1. So you need to consider one character at a time. Let's consider 0. What you need to do? You need to assume a new state which is equal to empty initially 5. Then for each state Q in Q, so you know that capital Q is Q naught, Q1, Q3. There are 3 states. For each of the state, what you need to do? You need to compute this for each state Q, for each state P such that. So now I'm considering C to be equal to 0. So you know that I started by computing with S dash. So S dash is epsilon of S, which is epsilon of Q naught, which is Q naught, Q1, Q3. So first step is to add this Q naught, Q1, Q3 to the set of active states. Then since delta dash has not been computed yet, you need to compute delta dash by considering the first element from the set of active states, which is Q naught, Q1, Q3. Okay, Q naught, Q1, Q3. How to compute delta dash? Delta dash has to be computed for each of the character in the alphabet. So in alphabet, there are 2 characters, 0 and 1. So you need to compute delta dash for 0 as well as 1. So you consider one element of Q. Let's say in Q there are 3 elements, Q naught, Q1, Q3. So you need to consider Q naught on 0. So Q naught on 0, there is no transition. Now Q1 on 0, you have Q2. So what you need to do, you need to add epsilon of Q2. You need to perform union operation with the new state. Then Q3 on 0, Q4, you need to perform epsilon of Q4. Then you perform union of epsilon of Q2 and epsilon of Q4. That's what you are doing here. You're performing union operation. Okay. Then add the transition Q comma C comma new state to the delta dash. Then if new state happens to be not a part of of uh, active states, then you add it to the set of active states. So like this, you are going to convert NDFSM to DFSM. So already we discussed, if you consider this algorithm and one problem, you'll understand it clearly. So K dash is set of active states, K dash is the set of accepting states. So wherever, so you know that in DFSM, every state is a set. So in one state, there may be multiple elements. So all those states which contain accepting state of NDFSM are accepting states of DFSM. Okay, I hope this algorithm you understood. So problems are important, but you need to know the algorithm, because in exam if they ask algorithm, you must be in a position to write the algorithm. But once you know the problem, you can easily understand the algorithm. So I hope all of you understood this algorithm. Okay. So what we can do is we'll consider one problem. Okay. Second. Okay, we'll consider this particular problem. Convert the NDFSM to its equivalent DFSM. Okay. Consider this NDFSM. Consider this NDFSM will understand the algorithm by using this particular example. Okay. Okay. So here one NDFSM is given. You need to convert this NDFSM to DFSM. Okay. So already we discussed many problems in the previous class. Okay. So all of you know that first step is to compute S dash, which is equal to epsilon of S, which is equal to epsilon of Q naught. Epsilon of Q naught. Okay. So which is equal to what is epsilon of Q naught? Yes, tell me what is epsilon of Q naught for this particular problem. What is epsilon of Q naught? Yes, what is epsilon of Q naught? Yes, tell me quickly. So this NDFSM, what is epsilon of Q naught? Yes, give me the answer. What is epsilon of Q naught? Yes, give me the answer quickly. Give me the answer. So epsilon of Q naught is nothing but Q naught itself. So you know that in the epsilon, you must include that state always. So epsilon of Q naught is Q naught. And since there are no epsilon transitions from Q naught, that's why there are no other elements. Only Q naught appears in epsilon of Q naught. So Q naught is the starting state of NDFSM. It's going to be starting state of DFSM also, because epsilon of Q naught is Q naught only. There are no other epsilon transitions from Q naught. I hope this is clear to you. Then what you need to do next, you need to consider active states. So active states is equal to, initially there is only one state, which is nothing but the starting state, Q naught. So this is the initial active states. Okay. So that's what we have done according to the algorithm. So we computed S dash. Now S dash is added to active states. Right now we have not computed any transition for the DFSM. That's why delta dash is equal to 5. Next step, we are going to compute delta dash, which is the transition function of the DFSM, which will be computed from this in DFSM. So what you need to do is, we need to compute delta dash of, Q naught, delta dash of Q naught comma 0. So we need to do this. Delta dash has to be computed for each of the states in the set of active states and for each of the symbols in the alphabet. So there are two symbols, 0 and 1. Delta dash has to be computed for 0 as well as 1. What is delta dash of Q naught comma 0? What is delta dash of Q naught comma 0? So how we are going to compute? Let's see the algorithm. So for each symbol C in the alphabet, you need to do the computation. So initially, we assume new state is 5 for each state Q in Q. So right now, this capital Q is representing this state. Right now, we have only one state Q naught. If there are multiple states for each of the elements in the state, you need to repeat this step. Right now, there is only one element. That's why this is not going to play a major role here. Now, for each state, P such that Q comma C comma P belongs to delta. So now, as you can see, for Q naught on 0, there are two transitions. Q naught on 0, there are two transitions. One is to Q naught itself, one is to Q1 itself. Then what is given here for each state? What you need to do? You need to compute epsilon of that state and union it with new state. New state is pi. So there are two states. One is Q naught, one is Q1. So you need to compute epsilon of Q naught as well as epsilon of Q1. Then you need to perform the union operation. So epsilon of Q naught is Q naught itself, epsilon of Q1 is Q1 itself. So union is Q naught comma Q1. Then this is the new state. Then add the transition to delta dash. So this is the transition. Delta dash you have to add. Then if new state, what is new state? Q naught, Q1. If it is not a part of active states, we add it to the set of active states. So this becomes a part of set of active states. So this is delta dash. Now we need to compute delta dash for another symbol in the alphabet, that is 1. So we need to compute delta dash of Q naught comma 1. Q naught comma 1. So for Q naught comma 1, there is only one transition, that is to Q naught itself. So you need to compute epsilon of Q naught, which is nothing but Q naught. Q naught. Okay. Now Q naught need not be added to active states because active states already contains Q naught. That's why just add it to delta dash. In delta dash, there are two elements now. Next, we need to compute delta dash of Q naught Q1 because for this we have not computed delta dash. So next, we need to compute delta dash for that particular state. So delta dash of this. So there are two symbols. First we'll compute for 0. Next we'll be computing for 1. So delta dash of Q naught Q1 comma 0 is equal to, what you need to do, see the algorithm for each state Q. So there are two states, Q naught and Q1 in capital Q. For each state, you need to compute the transition. Okay. So Q naught on 0. Q naught on 0. There are two transitions. One is to Q naught itself, one is to Q1. Then Q1 on 0. Are there any transitions? No. So that means Q naught on 0, two possibilities, Q naught and Q1. So you need to compute epsilon of Q naught as well as epsilon of Q1. So epsilon of Q naught is Q naught itself, Q1 is Q1 itself. Their union is Q naught Q1. Q naught Q1. So this is already a part of the active states. So need not be added to the set of active states. Just make it as a part of delta dash. Then next we need to compute delta dash of Q naught Q1 on 1. So Q naught Q1 on 1. So Q naught on 1 is Q naught, Q1 on 1 is Q2. So epsilon of Q naught is Q naught, epsilon of Q2 is Q2. So we get Q naught Q2, which is, yes, Q naught Q2 we get. Q naught Q2 is not a part of active states. That's why Q naught Q2 should be added to the set of active states. Q naught Q2 should be added to the set of active states. Now for the first two elements we have computed delta dash. Next for Q naught Q2 we need to compute delta dash. Q naught Q2 on 0. Q naught Q2 on 0. What is it? Q naught Q2 on 0. So Q naught on 0 is Q naught Q1. Q2 on 0 is not defined. So we get two states, Q naught and Q1. Epsilon of Q naught is Q naught. Union epsilon of Q1 is Q1. So we get Q naught comma Q1. Both elements are a part of one active states. So this element already appears in active states, so need not be added to the set of active states once again. Then next we need to compute Q naught Q2 on 1. Q naught Q2 on 1. So what is it? Q naught on 1 is Q naught. Q2 on 1 is not defined. So Q2 on 1 is not defined. Q naught on 1 is Q naught itself. Epsilon of Q naught is Q naught. So this is the transition. And as you can see, Q naught is already a part of active states. That's why this cannot be added to the set of active states. So now we have three states. One is Q naught, another one is Q naught, Q1, another one is Q naught, Q2. So now using this transition function, you can draw the corresponding DFSM. So there are three states, Q naught, Q naught, Q1, Q naught, Q2. Here, which is the accepting state? The state which contains Q2. So there is one state which contains Q2. That's why this is the accepting state, Q naught, Q2. Q naught is the initial state. S dash is equal to Q naught. That's why Q naught is the initial state. Then transitions. So Q naught on 0, Q naught, Q1. Q naught on 1 is Q naught. Q naught, Q1 on 0 is Q naught, Q1. Then Q naught, Q1 on 1 is Q naught, Q2. Then Q naught, Q2 on 0 is Q naught, Q1. Q naught, Q2 on 1 is Q naught. Okay, so this is the NDFSM corresponding to the DFSM. This is the DFSM corresponding to the NDFSM. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Now you can easily draw the DFSM by using these transitions. Okay, so that is the algorithm for NDFSM to DFSM. So problems, you can solve this on your own. These are very huge problems. That's why I didn't consider. So these huge problems won't be asked. So in the exam NDFSM to DFSM conversion, usually you receive a smaller problem. Then we discussed this minimization. We saw many problems for minimization. Okay. Now we are at the end of this module. There is one topic which completes this module. So before going to that module, let me call the attendance. Okay. Okay. So date is 01.
Check.
Yes. Sushmita.
Present, sir.
Adarsh.
Present, sir.
Aishwarya.
Present, sir.
Akshata.
Present, sir.
Amal.
Present, sir.
Anvit.
Present, sir.
Archana. Archana. Ashika.
Present, sir.
Ashwath.
Present, sir.
Atufa.
Present, sir.
Aisha.
Present, sir.
Bhakti. 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 Chirag. Chirag. Hari Prasad.
Present, sir.
Shit.
Present, sir.
Ibrahim.
Present, sir.
Kaushik. Kaushik. Azri,
Present, sir.
Anisha,
Present, sir.
Rohit,
Present, sir.
Lavanya,
Present, sir.
Faizan,
Present, sir.
Faik,
Present, sir.
Hisham,
Present, sir.
Aulia,
Present, sir.
Nida,
Present, sir.
Pooja,
Present, sir.
Ajwal,
Present, sir.
Pranav,
Present, sir.
Prasad, Prasad, Prashanti,
Present, sir.
Pratiksha,
Present, sir.
Rifa,
Present, sir.
Rifa, Rohan,
Present, sir.
Present, sir.
Roshni,
Present, sir.
Sahana,
Present, sir.
Sai Niketan, Sangeet,
Present, sir.
Sangeet,
Sir.
Sangeet,
Present, sir.
Shafa, Sharanya,
Present, sir.
Chaitra,
Present, sir.
Shrestha, Shrestha, Shrilaksha,
Present, sir.
Shweta,
Present, sir.
Siddharth,
Present, sir.
Neha, Neha, Surya, Surya, Surya,
Present, sir.
who is that? Gaurav,
Yes, sir.
Srilal,
Yes, sir.
Tejit,
Yes, sir.
Suman,
Present, sir.
Sumant, Sumant, Sunit, Sunit, Sushma,
Present,
Sushmit,
Present, sir.
Sushmit, Sushmita,
Present,
Varshita, Varshita, Hima,
Present, sir.
Present,
Jida,
sir.
Jida, Altamash, Altamash, Amreen,
Present, sir.
Bashiruddin, Sania,
Present, sir.
Rizwan,
Present, sir.
Yes, Ashwin.
Yes, sir.
Ashwin,
Yes, sir.
are you there?
Yes, sir.
Russell?
Yes,
Russell?
sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, okay. Okay. So now, we'll consider something called as finite state transducer. Okay, finite state transducer. So a finite state transducer is a finite state machine that transduces or translate an input string into an output string. So input string you provide, it is translated to an output string. So finite state transducer examples are Moore machine and Mealy machine. So Moore machine, its outputs are determined by the current state alone. In Mealy machine, output depends on the current state and the current input. So these are the two finite state transducers which convert the input string into an output string. Okay, so Moore and Mealy machine. So Moore machine output depends on only on the current state, but in Mealy machine output depends on current state as well as current input symbol. Okay, first we'll consider Moore machine definition. So Moore machine M is equal to K comma sigma comma O comma delta comma D comma S comma A, where K is the finite set of states, sigma is the alphabet, O is the output alphabet, sigma is an input alphabet, O is the output alphabet, then S is the initial state, A set of accepting states, delta is the transition function, D is the output function from K to O star. Okay, K is the output, D is the output function. So here, this is the simple example for Moore machine. Output depends only on the current state. So here, graphic signal. So G means green light, yellow light, red light. So if the current state is G, then after 70 seconds, next states will be Y, yellow. Then if current state is Y, after 10 seconds, next state will be red. Then if current state is red, after 80 seconds, next state will be green. So output depends only on the present state, not on the input. This is Moore machine. This is Moore machine. Then we have Mealy machine. Again, K sigma O delta S comma A, where K is the finite set of states, sigma input alphabet, O output alphabet, S is the initial state, A set of accepting states, delta is the transition function from K cross sigma to K cross O star. Let's see one example. Odd parity generator. That is, after every 4 bits, outputs a 5th bit such that each group of 5 bits has odd parity. Okay. So each group of 5 bits has odd parity. So here, this the initial state as well as accepting state, double circle. Then on 0, you make a transition to this state, output is 0, 0, output is 0, 0, output is 0. See how many zeros we encountered? 1, 2, 3 zeros are encountered. Output are also 3 zeros. So what is the function of this Mealy machine? After 4 bits, it should generate 5th bit such that each group of 5 bits has odd parity. So we encountered 3 zeros are generated. Then the 4th bit, if it is 0, we need to generate 0, 1. If it is 1, we generate 1, 0. So we generate the output such that every group of 5 bits has odd parity. See here, 0, 0, 0, 0 is the input. What is the output? 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So 5 bits are such that there is only 1, 1, parity is odd. If input is 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, what is the output? 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Again, there is only one output is of odd parity. Next, you consider this. 1, let's say input is 1, 1, 1, then 0. So input is 1, 1, 1, 0. What is the what is the parity of the input? Parity of the input is odd parity. 1, 1. Once again, parity is odd because we have 1, 1, 1, 3 ones followed by a 0. Parity is odd. So fifth bit must also be 0 to keep the parity at odd. So 1 output is 1, 1 output is 1, 1 output is 1, then 0. So output is 0, 0. So 1, 1, 0 is the input. Output is 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. Output is of odd parity. 3 ones are there. If input is 1, 1, 1, 1, what should be the output? So in the input there are 4 ones. Input is of even parity. So output must be of odd parity. So input is 4 ones. Output must be 5 ones. So that output is of odd parity. Just see 1 output is 1, 1 output is 1, 1 output is 1, then 1 output is 1, 1. So 5 ones are generated. You go to the accepting state. So this is the Mealy machine for generating outputs of odd parity. I hope this example is clear to you. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Yes. Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
So this is one example for Mealy machine. Then there is one more example for Mealy machine, which is nothing but barcode reader. So barcode reader. So barcodes are ubiquitous. We consider here a simplification. Barcode system that encodes just the binary numbers. Imagine a barcode such as it is composed of columns, each of the same width. So you know what is barcode? In barcode you see columns like this. So columns are such that columns can be white column or black column, but all columns must be of same length. So a column can be either white or black. If two black columns occur next to each other, it will look to us like a single wide black column. Actually, all columns are of same length, but when two black columns they appear back to back, it looks like a wider black column. Similarly, when multiple white columns appear back to back, it looks like a fat white column. But the reader will see two adjacent black columns of the standard width. So if two black columns occur next to each other, it will look to us like a single wide black column, but the reader will see two adjacent black columns of the standard width. The job of the white columns is to delimit the black ones. That is, white columns are to delimit the black ones. A single black column encodes a 0, then two black columns encodes a 1. So white column is just a delimiter for the black column. So single black column means 0, two black column means 1. That's how you're going to encode. Okay. So we will represent black bar with the symbol B, white bar with the symbol W. The input to the transducer will be a sequence of those symbols corresponding to reading the barcode left to right. Okay. Let's see. So here there is a barcode. Here we have the finite state transducer. It is a Mealy machine. Okay, output depends on the current input as well as the current state. So initially start state, if you go on receiving white, there is no output. Output is epsilon. You just stay in the start state because you must encounter a black to start processing. If you have only white, that means processing has not yet started. You remain in the start state. Then once you receive a black, you're not going to output anything. Output is epsilon. If that black is followed by white, output is 0. That means single black column. White is the delimiter for black. So if there is a single black column, you're going to encode it as 0. Okay, single black column, black, you encode it as 0. Then if black is followed by another black, it is encoded as white. It is encoded as black followed by white. It is encoded as 1. So if we have 3 black columns, black, it's an error. It's an error. Then to correct this error, it must be followed by 2 white columns. It must be followed by 2 white columns. Okay. So then if 3, whenever error occurs, when error occurs is when you have more than 2 black columns adjacent to each other. Then to go back to the starting state, this must be followed by 2 white columns. Okay. Yes, Anvit, which one you did not understand? Anvit, which one you did not understand? Yes, which one, which example you have doubts? How does it take the, what is that? What is that? How does it take, what is that sentence? It's not clear. How does it take the lines of black? You know that barcode reader. Okay, so there is a barcode and there is a barcode reader. Barcode reader knows the length of each column, and as mentioned earlier, all columns are of standard width. Okay, all columns are of standard width. So while seeing, you may see a wide black column, but actually it is combination of multiple black columns. Okay, so that is known to the barcode reader because every column is of standard length. So now start. So at the beginning, if you have only white, you stay in start state only without producing any output. Then when black comes, if there is a single black column followed by white, then you output 0. If 2 black columns followed by white, you output 1. If you have 3 black columns, it's an error. Then after that, you stay in D1 until you encounter white column. So if you receive single white column followed by black, again it is error. But if you have this error, there is sequence of black columns followed by 2 white columns, then you go back to the starting state. So this is how barcode reader works. So any doubts now? So this is a Mealy machine. Any doubts in this? Any doubts in this? Yes, any doubts? Yes, please let me know. Yes, any doubts? Please. Yes, any doubts? Yes. Prashanti, any doubts? Prashanti.
No, sir.
Yes. Ashika, any doubts? Ashika,
No, sir.
you have doubts. Ashika. Yes, Ashika.
No, sir.
Yes, Ashwin Kumar, any doubts? Ashwin Kumar.
No,
Yes, Ashwin Kumar.
no, sir.
Yes, Ibrahim. Ibrahim.
Yes, sir.
What is, you have a lot of doubts?
No doubt,
Okay,
sir.
okay. Yes, Suman. Yes, Suman. Any doubts? Suman.
No, sir. No.
Suman.
Yes, sir.
Doubts you have?
No doubt, sir.
Okay, okay. Srijit. Srijit.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Any doubts?
No.
Okay. Shafa. Any doubts? Shafa. 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 You're not in the meeting, right? Shafa.
I'm there, sir.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. So that completes module 1. So that completes module 1. Okay. So, see, these are the assignment questions from module 1. Okay. So I'm going to share these assignment questions with you now itself. Okay. So you need to solve this. So in the next class, I'll be asking solutions with some of you. Randomly, I'll pick some of you and I'll ask you to give the solution. Okay. Is it clear? Yes. Yes, Shrestha. At what time you joined? Shrestha. Shrestha.
Sir, I was unknowing about the changes in timing.
Oh, why? Why so?
I was offline. I just checked my phone now.
No, but this change is from last Friday, right? From last Friday, you have this change timings.
I didn't note it, sir.
No, that means from last Friday, you're not attending.
No, I was attending today. No,
Yes, Shrestha. What happened?
network is.
Sneha. Yes. Shrestha, tell me. Tell me your problem.
I was unknowing, so I couldn't join soon.
Only today or
Only today. Every day I used to join all the classes. I have attended all the classes till now.
and today what happened?
Today I just missed. I don't know how.
Oh, then how can I give attendance?
I joined at what time I got to know. I joined as soon as like immediately.
Mm-hmm. Sneha, what's your problem? Sneha. Okay, I'll see it later. Don't worry. Okay.
Sir.
So now what I was saying is these are the assignment questions. These are the assignment questions. Many good problems are there in this. So you need to start writing this assignment. Okay, today itself you can start writing the assignment. Okay, then in the next class I'm going to discuss these assignment questions. You need to give the solution. I'll be picking one by one randomly. You need to give the solution. Okay, and for today I'm going to stop here. Is it okay or shall I continue? Shall I continue or shall I stop?
No, sir. Stop.
Yes, Ibrahim. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. Okay, so I hope you have understood everything. So I'll continue with the assignment questions in the next class, and once assignment questions discussions are completed, I'll switch to module 2. Okay, so you can leave now. Thank you.